Hello friends, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new. This is Louisiana Cooking and Living. Today we are going to be making white beans with ham hocks and Tasso. Just a little disclaimer, the College World Series is going on, and if you hear my son scream, it's because he's watching the game and he's excited because LSU is winning at this moment. Anyway, we are having a fellowship after church tomorrow for the conclusion of VBS this past week. And we are picking up jambalaya already made, but I am making the white beans for everybody tomorrow. So this is going to be a big quantity of white beans. Typically for our family of 6, I'd only make a pound of them, make cornbread to go on the side, that kind of thing. I'm not making any cornbread, but I will link a video that I have done that makes cornbread. Really good cornbread recipe with a secret ingredient of sour cream that makes it super moist and tender. Anyway, so I am making 7 pounds of white beans today. So it is a much larger recipe than a normal family, but a recipe like this you just kind of go by taste anyway. Typically I'd make 1 pound. Like I said, I would do maybe a pound of meat in it, maybe 1 onion chopped up and some garlic and some seasoning, but I'm gonna be making a lot larger quantity, obviously. So we're gonna turn around by the stove and we are gonna get started. It's super easy to make. It's just a long time of cooking process. And we'll get busy cooking. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna add to my pot is this pork tasso. It comes from the Best Stop, which is our favorite place to get boudin. It's over in Scott, Louisiana. But tasso is like a pork that I think it is smoked, but then also pickled. I'm not quite sure. You could also add andouille sausage. So we're gonna add this right in here to the pot. I'm using my big pressure cannon pot to do this much beans here. So I have 3 pounds of this that I'm putting in. Our pot's on about a medium right now. I'm also gonna add these smoked ham hocks. I have 2 packs, so there's 6 total here. Through the cooking process, this tasso will shred up, and then also you can pull the meat off these bones from these ham hocks. So we'll throw all this in here. There's plenty of ham on these. So these are the brand of dry beans I use. These are Great Northerns that we're going to use. This Camellia brand is from Louisiana, and this is my favorite brand. I use these red beans, they're white beans, they're black-eyed peas, whatever I'm needing for that meal. This is the brand I use. I also have a bunch of onions here already cut up into like this size piece. They will cook down. So I'm going to throw that in there. And then got a bunch of garlic here. Just gonna cut the little stem end off of them and throw them straight into the pot. They will cook down also. So these, typically beans will cook for 4 or 5 hours. But I'm thinking with this large of a pot, they're gonna take a lot longer to cook. So I'm gonna let them cook overnight. I'm getting them started here right now, but then I'll turn them on later to really cook. And I'll do them lower than I usually do. I usually have it at a good simmer, but I'll turn it down lower too. I'm just gonna have about 8 hours to cook. And in the morning we'll come back together and just give them a taste. Good to have a little beans for breakfast, huh? All right, I'm not counting. I'm just tossing. I love my garlic. And I did soak my beans for a little while, but again, I'm gonna be needing them to cook all night, so I didn't want them to soak too long. People sometimes will soak their beans overnight. I'll never do that. I just usually soak them for a few hours. But once I pour them into my bowl over here and put some water on them, they swelled up to fit the whole bowl. here's my bowl of beans. It's a pretty big bowl. So this is 1 pound and I'm making 7 pounds. So it's a pretty good sized bowl of beans here. I'll give these a quick stir down here. I'm not sure if they're gonna stir too much. Okay, and I'm going to dump my beans in. Hopefully I don't make a mess. Oh, one little rock. Okay. I'm going to get some water to cover this. I'm just going to use my bowl. So you want to put enough water to cover your beans. I'll do one more. I think that's enough for now. I'll probably have to add some water a couple of times. I'm gonna give it a good helping of salt here. This is 7 pounds of beans here, so we'll give it a good helping of salt. And I'm going to add some of my seasoning. This is a seasoning blend that I make. I also sell it on Etsy. There's a link in the bio or the description at the bottom that'll or if you wanted to buy some, you could. It's a Cajun seasoning blend that's, all the red you see here is cayenne. There's no paprika in this at all. And it's less salt than you would get in like a store-bought Cajun seasoning. And that's pretty much it. That's all I put in my beans. Oh, well, I forgot my bay leaf. Let me get some bay leaves out. So I mentioned boudin from the Best Stop, which we love to get it from there. Boudin, if you don't know, is a pork rice dressing that's in a casing. It looks like sausage. They started selling it here in town, and where I live, in the grocery store. But anytime we are over near Lafayette, we always stop at the Best Stop to get some boudin. Let me actually have some in the fridge. I'll get it out and let you see it. This is 1 link of boudin I got from the grocery store here. Anyway, you can steam it or grill it or smoke it. Anyway, we take it out of the casing once you heat it up and eat it on a cracker. That's the way we like to eat it. But it's rice and pork and different seasonings. I've actually made boudin before, but it's a pretty labor-intensive process for the amount of boudin you get. All right, so we will let these cook overnight, and we will be back in the morning, and we will finish them up. Okay friends, we are back. It is Sunday morning and the beans have cooked most of the night, and we are going to finish them off now. I've pulled all the ham hocks and the tasso out of the pot, and we are gonna shred it and chop it up and put it back in the pot, and we'll I'll show you what I do with the beans too to make them kind of creamy. Okay, so I pulled all the ham out of the pot, and what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take the tasso that's already fallen apart, and we're gonna chop this up. It's kind of hot. Shreds a little bit, so it doesn't take much to chop it up. Super tender. It's been cooking all night. We'll add this back to the pot. Lots of protein going in. Almost looks like pulled pork. This week here, it is supposed to be up to 103 a couple of days. With the humidity, that's gonna put us in the 110s for our heat index. So it's gonna be a crazy hot week here this week. How are all y'all faring? Y'all having hot temperatures like us, or y'all still pretty mild? Take off any excess fat. Of course, fat gave us good flavor while we were cooking, but we'll take that off now. My dogs are whining on my feet for the fat. By the way, if you're wondering, LSU did win the game last night. So well, I guess we're in the finals, so we were gonna be playing tonight anyway, but we did win one. If we win today, I think that's it. All right, so this is like the ham hock. So what we're gonna do is pull the meat out of here. If you have a leftover ham, like for at Thanksgiving or Easter or something, that's always good to add to the ham bone with the extra meat on it. There's not much meat on a ham hock, but it's smoky and gives it lots of flavor. So that's why I like to add the tasso also, to give us the meat part of it. But just come off in little chunks like that. So I ended up having to separate the beans because once they started absorbing that broth, it was getting to be too much in my pot. So I had to get a second pot out and transfer some of them over, but now that they've kind of cooked down, I've moved them all back into one pot. Hopefully I can fit all the meat back in with it. So a ham is the leg muscle, the thigh muscle of a pig, and the ham hock is kind of down near the feet area. So it is still part of the leg, but it's just down there. That's why there's not much meat on it. But they still smoke it the same, and so it's got a lot of good smoky flavor to it. Andouille I mentioned earlier that you could put in this is, I like to describe it as a sausage that's really a ham. I know sausage is pork, but for some reason andouille sausage reminds me a lot of just ham in a casing. My dogs are gonna love these bones. Just shred this, yep, with my hands. I don't even need to chop it. Just shred it up. My hands are clean. I did wash them before I started doing this. I always wash my hands in the kitchen. I wash my hands a lot in the kitchen. My kids kind of make fun of me. Looks like it might be it. Oh, one more big old piece of tasso hiding down in there. Like I said yesterday when we started the video, these are really good with cornbread. You can either just bake it like a pan of cornbread, or sometimes I'll fry it like a pancake. And makes it kind of crispy all the way around. And that I like to dip in my beans when I do it like that. Okay, we're gonna go around to the pot and we'll add this in. So before I add the meat back to the pot, I'm gonna show you what I do to make these creamy. What I end up doing is, I'm just doing, oh, there's some more tasso I didn't pull out. When I'm doing just a pot for us, I'll just squish the beans against the side. But what I'm gonna do, since there's so much in here, I'm gonna pull them out into a bowl and mash them up with a fork. And then you add that back in, and that gives it that creamy texture. So I have my fork here. Just mash these up. And it's like it thickens it with itself instead of adding anything to thicken it. Trying to bring them back to a boil to absorb or evaporate off some of that liquid. I was worried during the night that I would not wake up and they would become dry. I kept getting up during the night to check on them to make sure they didn't dry out. Oh, this bowl is hot. Now it's 8:30 and we won't be eating until noonish at church. So I think I'm going to turn this off for now. When we get to church, I will, when I go to heat them up to serve them, I'll bring them to a boil to evaporate the rest of that liquid off. Well, this Tasso is hiding down in here. Didn't get it shredded up. We'll just do this with our spoon. All right, we're gonna add all this meat in. Hopefully it all fits. I did say we were serving jambalaya with this, which is gonna have chicken and sausage in it. It's gonna be a lot of meat in this meal. Looks like we're all gonna fit. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna do a little taste test. Have a little mug of beans here. Some people like to add like a Louisiana hot sauce, Tabasco, Crystal, something like that to their beans. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I don't like the vinegar taste to them. These aren't too spicy. They got a lot of flavor though, with all the onions and garlic and the bay leaf and the seasonings we did put in there. I did talk about my little, my Cajun seasoning that I make and I do sell on Etsy. I'll put a link in the description box. But it's just got cayenne pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, dry mustard. I think that's all that's in there. Going through my list in my head of the recipe. But that smokiness from the ham and the Tasso, just full of flavor. We'll give this a taste test real quick. Get a bite. It's got a little bit of ham, a little bit of beans here. Super hot. You see the creaminess of it from me smashing those beans up. Super good. I really want the cornbread with this. Cornbread really makes it. But it's kind of funny that when we do have this with jambalaya here, we'll put the white beans, just kind of pour them over the jambalaya. I don't know, it's a weird thing. I didn't do that growing up, but as an adult, I've seen people doing that, and that's kind of the way we eat it. But I hope you give this recipe a try. It's very easy. It does take some time to cook it, but it's just easy. Throw it in the pot, let it simmer all day while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. Cleaning the house, running errands, schooling the kids, if you're homeschooling, gardening, yard work, whatever it is, you just throw it in the pot. It's kind of like a crock pot meal, but just on the stove top. It does take a long time to cook, but it's, you know, get it all in there and it's done. So I hope you give this a try. Super flavorful, hearty. In the wintertime, it's really good because it's hot. But things like this, we kind of eat all year long around here. My kids love to eat red beans with sausage. So I hope you give this recipe a try. If you have any comments, suggestions, leave them down in the comment box, and I will share a couple of links to other videos of mine. And if you don't mind, hit subscribe and follow along with us. Until next time, I do put videos out every Thursday, or I try to. I think every time I've done it so far, but I might miss something or be a day late or something. But I try to put them out every Thursday. So I hope you follow along with us, and we'll see you next time.